Let me start off by saying thank you to all the police officers. Um, Thanks for keeping our neighborhood safe as best as possible, as best as you can. Now, in a few of my videos, I talked about how I had a fear of being pulled over. I talked about what I would do if I got pulled over, things like sticking my hand out the window, turning my dome lights on if it's dark, if you can't see in the car. Although those things are true, and that is a true worry that I have, it wasn't meant for all police officers. It wasn't meant for the good ones. It was meant really for the bad ones. Now, my true belief is there are more good police officers than there is bad officers. It's just that unfortunately for that career, the bad ones are the ones that make the news. The bad ones are the ones that people talk about. As I drive around my state and my city, and I travel quite a bit, I've seen officers do incredible things. I've seen officers open up doors for people. I've seen officers give food to people. I've seen officers helping people with gas. I've seen officers do incredible things that people never ever talk about. Now, I'm one of the type of people that I will talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. Um, Now, as I said earlier, I do have a fear of being pulled over, and I have a fear of being pulled over by that bad cop. Um, Now, people have I guess, their own opinion what a good cop is and what a bad cop is. So, what makes a good cop? What makes a bad cop? Okay, I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for me. Now, as a young man, I've come across just people from all walks of life. I've come across good police officers. I've come across some bad ones. Also, in my videos, I talked about how I've been profiled before and how I would tell people, my friends, like, hey, this happened to me, you know? And although I laugh about it now, at the time, it was very serious. At the time, I didn't have a voice. I was young. I didn't know what to do. So I just thought it was normal. I had no concept that, hey, this is not right until I got older. And when I got older, I started to understand more, understand, the ways of life. And I was like, you know what? This isn't right. Um, so I was able to, speak on it. Now, I'm not going to say that every time a police officer pulls you over, you know, police officer's in the wrong. Um, I've been pulled over before. I've been speeding. I've had speeding tickets. So I have never disrespected a police officer in that sense. And in that sense, a police officer's never disrespected me. I've never had a run in when I've done something wrong. Now, I talked about when I was profiled. When I was profiled, I was actually at a stop sign. Police officer tells me that I ran the stop sign, but he doesn't give me a ticket for it. He wanted to search my car. My thing is, okay, if you want to search my car, just tell me you want to search my car. If I look suspicious, I don't know what suspicious looks like, but if I look suspicious, um, I'd rather you just be honest and tell me, hey, you look suspicious, so I want to search your car, and then you can be on your way. Another time is a officer pulled me over at a red light. He pulled me over, and I had my little brother in the car, and he told me that I, the first thing he asked me is where I stole the car from. I told him the car wasn't stolen. He said, we'll see. That's not normal. That's not something you would ask just anybody, but that's what happened to me. He had me sit there for 45 minutes. He came back and said, oh, looks like everything's good. I said, yeah. He says, oh, well, you don't have your seatbelt on. I said, I don't have my seatbelt. And I looked down and I looked at my little brother and I shook my head and I said, I guess I don't have my seatbelt on because what do I do as a young man? What do I do? Who do I tell? You know, so those officers, those type of people that use that kind of power, those are the type of people that I'm afraid of being pulled over by. Because as a man now, those type of things I probably wouldn't let happen. I'm gonna say something now, and I don't want to put myself in that position. I have kids now. In fact, I have kids that are the age I was when I was being profiled. I talk to my sons and I tell them like, hey, these are the things you do when you get pulled over. These are not things that I think that a parent should have to talk to their kids about, but there are things that you have to talk to your kids about. Um, was I profiled because I was black? I don't really know. I just know that out of the majority of friends that I have and the people that I talk to, the things that I've seen, that blacks, people of brown color, Hispanics, just we get profiled more. So again, I understand that police officers they have a hard job. They never know what they're walking into. It can get to them. And I hope that they're getting the help that they need as well. Um, but a good officer to me is someone that will do their job. That's all I really ask for. I just want a person to do their job. Um, there was a post that I posted about uh, maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. It was about myself, and I'm never gonna talk about somebody else. I'm always gonna talk about and put myself in a scenario. But this happened to me. So a cop, state trooper actually, pulls me over, and it's about 3:30 in the morning maybe. He pulls me over and he says to me, uh, "Have you been drinking?" And I was like, "No, I'm just tired. I'm just heading home." He goes, "Well, where are you going?" So I'm going down to Fillmore, and I'm gonna get off and get my car and go home. He goes, "Well, I'm going down that way too. So how about this? How about I follow you and make sure you get there safe, and then you just make sure you get home." I said, "Appreciate it." He followed me. When it was time for me to hit my exit, he hit the lights. He um, honked the horn, and he took off his way. I took off and I went home. Now, I knew that even though I wasn't drinking, I don't do drugs or anything like that. I knew that it was against the law in the state that I live in for me to be driving that tired, regardless if I was at work or not. And I knew that he knew this, but he chose not to, you know, pursue anything. He didn't treat me like I was lying about something. Do I think he was a good cop for that reason? No. I think he was a good cop because he treated me like I was a human. He talked to me as a person. Um, and I have others. There was one time an officer actually was looking for someone, and it was kind of funny because at the time I lived in an apartment complex, and I lived on the third floor, and I had this dog. Uh, every time I got home from work, I would take her out, and we would go to this little field, and I would let her run around. Well, there was a group of cops, like eight of them, following me. My dog turns around and looks at them as she's walking. I look at her, turn around, like why she's never done that before. So I turn around, there's eight cops walking behind me, and I just and where I'm walking, I'm walking past a bar, so I'm figuring they're just going to the bar. So I didn't even think they were looking for anyone that looked like me or anything like that. So I just kept going, doing my normal schedule. Well, I get to this field, I let the dog run, take off the chain. She runs around in this field, and I'm just standing there watching her. Now, he was an older cop. He walks up to me, and I'm thinking, oh man, here we go again. I was like, what did I do now? He goes, no, no. He goes, you mind if I ask you something? And I was like, sure. He says, do you live in these trailer parks, this trailer park right here? And I said, no, I don't. I just walked over here because this is where I would take my dog. So he looks over at my dog. He goes, okay. He goes, would you mind if I ask you where you live? And I said, kind of. I mean, what's going on? I mean, if you're looking, I mean, what's going on? He goes, well, I don't want to, I see you're here with your dog. I don't want to mess with you too much. I just, we're looking for someone and you kind of fit the description. I said, I fit the description, man. He goes, well, actually, not you, but your dog. I said, my dog fits the description? He goes, yeah, somebody had a dog that looks like yours and blah, blah, blah. So long story short, I was like, so you're asking me, you're not telling me, you're asking me? He goes, yeah. He goes, you can walk away. You don't have to. And I was like, no, I said, this is how it should be. You should ask me, and I appreciate that. You could have, this whole thing could have been a totally different situation. You could have said that, yeah, you're the guy, this is your dog, you live over here, and we're taking you in. That could have easily happened, but he asked me, and I was like, wow. I said, I appreciate that. So he asked me, I gave him my information. He looked at it, he ran it through, he went about his business. He went over to the group of cops. They talked for a second, and then they left. They left. And, they continued their search for whoever they were looking for. I got my dog. My dog came back to me after she was done, and we went home. So that to me again was a good cop. And like I said, there's been many. I've seen many cops do a lot of different things, and people we have to we. I always say we have to do better because we have to do better. We should not just post all the stuff that cops do wrong. They're humans just like we're humans. I'm sure that everyone that posts about cops doing something bad has done bad things themselves. So they have a hard job, and they don't deserve to do it with people doing um, crazy things. So I encourage, and I'm gonna do the same. I encourage you guys all, if it's possible, to find something, find a video, find something that a cop's done, or post about things that cops done for you that have been good. Again, I always say that it has to start somewhere because it really does truly have to start somewhere. It can't be everything's bad. The news is always going to talk about the negative stuff. Very rarely do I see positive things. Um, you know, let's post some good stuff. Let's talk about some good stuff. The bad stuff is easy. That stuff is easy to find. But let's find some good stuff about police officers. Let's hear some good stories about police officers. Because I know for a fact because I've seen it personally. Police officers doing good things. That's just my rant for today. I just wanted to, talk about that because I don't want people thinking, oh, you know, this happened. So he talks about the negative stuff. No, I'm gonna be honest. My channel and my thoughts are always gonna be honest. They're gonna be what I think. I'm not one of those type of people that's gonna listen to the news and then have inform an opinion from what they're telling me. I'm gonna do my own research. I'm gonna watch videos. I'm gonna look into it, and then I'm gonna form my opinion, and then I'm gonna post my opinion. So that's who I am. That's who I've always been, and that's who I'm always gonna be. So once again, thanks for not just the police officers, but thank you, police officers, for keeping our neighborhood safe as possible, for doing your job. I know it's a hard one. Um, and thank you for the fire department. Thank you guys for doing your job. Uh, Thanks for the nurses, all the first responders. Thank you. I do for the first responders, like the ambulance. It bothers me how some people, it doesn't happen often, but people when they don't pay attention or pull over, pull to the right when you guys are flying, trying to get to a place or whatever you guys are doing. Um, so I just want to say, thank you to you guys. Um, and not just you guys. Thanks for everybody that's been essential during this time of crisis for the world, really. And most importantly, thank you to the janitorial staff. The, those guys do not get enough credit. They have to deal with people's crap literally. You know, those people are not considered first responders, but they're first responders to me. So thank you and everything you guys do. And I hope that we all get through this. I hope everybody's being safe. It's your boy, Larry Fly. You know my name, you know my motto. And I'm out.